Hello viewers, welcome to Virtual Counselling Center with the University of Hertfordshire. I hope you are safe and well. I'm Mohammed Rajami, Managing Director of TCL Global. TCL Global is an education consultancy firm based in head office in Portsmouth, UK. We have 5 offices around the world. We have a regional office in Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait, and we have 2 offices in Bangladesh, Dhaka and Sylhet. TCL Global is working around 70 UK universities. We are the official partner with them. And we helped more than 3,000 students last year. And we're the largest education consultancy firm based in southeast of England. And our service is completely free of charge. I have a guest with me, Tom from Hertfordshire University. Tom is MENA. Tom is looking after MENA region. Tom is actually international officer for the MENA region. Thank you very much, Tom, for joining us today.
Not a problem. My pleasure.
Thank you. So, Tom, we can start with overview of Hertfordshire University, then we can go for more specific questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the University of Hertfordshire is a university based just outside North London. So, in the county of Hertfordshire, we're about a 25-minute train journey from the centre of London. So, we're in a really, really good location for students. We're also a very practical focused university. So although we cover 9 different schools of study, including things like engineering, computer science, all the way through to business and humanities, most of our subjects are very, very practical focused. We've got a real strong sense of employability at our university. And that's really what we strive towards, is preparing students for the world of work in the future. And just to sort of show that off is that we regularly have over 96.5% of our graduates each year in further education or employment within 6 months of graduating from us. So we really, really do set students up in a really good place for work after they graduate with us. So as I was saying about the schools of study we offer, the main areas of interest do tend to be things like computer science, engineering, business, life and medical science, law, creative arts. And then we do have other areas of interest like health and social work, which encompasses subject areas like nursing as well. The University of Hertfordshire is rated gold in the Teaching Excellence Framework. So that just sort of exemplifies the teaching that supports the employability of our students. The reason our students become so employable and we have such a good employment rate after students graduate from us is that that highest level of teaching amongst UK universities within the Teaching Excellence Framework. The university, I know this is something we'll touch on later, but we also offer a range of scholarships for international students, allocated solely to international students. So, like I said, we'll touch on those later, but they range between £1,000 and £4,000, and we'll be allocating those to students based on a number of different factors.
Thank you, Tom. During lockdown, lots of questions actually is being asked to our counselor around the world about the whether they should apply, or should wait, what will happen with the September intake, So if you can actually tell on it, please. Yeah, please.
So the university's obviously taken a number of steps with everything that's going on at the moment to sort of best accommodate new students and current students that will be returning to the campus. So the main difference that's happening with our university as opposed to other universities is there's been a change of initial entry date. So international students will be joining the university from the 26th of October rather than the end of September like we usually do. So this extra month is just to allow for international travel to sort of normalise again. Hopefully for countries to be able to let people fly again. Hopefully there's no quarantines involved with people coming into the country and things like that. Obviously we know this isn't going to be the answer to every student from every country, and so we're also opening over 20 subjects that weren't usually a January entry point at January entry point. And so this mostly involves undergraduate courses, because we don't often have many undergraduate courses as January entry points. So this includes subjects like computer science, aerospace engineering, mechanical engineering, and adult nursing.
I think it's a really great news, actually, that because normally I know the Hertfordshire is offering January intake master's level courses, so now they're planning to do in January undergraduate. Yeah. Tom?
Yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. A few other things that we're doing as well, mainly surround our English language requirements. Obviously, we're aware there's been a few developments amongst like IELTS centres and things like that, which means that students aren't always able to undertake their IELTS as usual. So we're opening up a number of pre-sessional English courses for students that will be offered online. If students have an English language qualification already, that just doesn't quite meet the requirements for the university. So we have a 6-week, a 12-week, and I think it's 15 or 16 week. We opened up a longer one. We announced a longer one yesterday. So the details on that we're still waiting for. But so that means we've got 3 different sessions for 3 different points. So obviously a 6-week if you need a 0.5 increase, 12-week if you need a 1.0 increase, and so on. And so
is the pre-sessional for the September and January for the both intakes?
And so these amendments are primarily for the autumn intake, so for the now October intake. Pre-sessional courses for January, we would assume would be able to start on campus as usual, because they would usually be starting around the October mark anyway. So we would hope that those pre-sessional English courses could go ahead as usual.
Okay, as you mentioned that the October, that 1 month, actually the Hertfordshire planning to actually postpone the start date. So what would about is there any application deadline that for the October intake?
Yeah, so obviously we would recommend to apply as soon as possible, purely because obviously there's a lot of processes that we have to go through and students have to go through. So we would always recommend to apply as soon as possible. As well, that means that there's more likely going to be scholarships left if you're applying sooner. But the absolute deadline, we would say, would be around the end of August as an absolute cut-off point. Okay,
thank you very much. So about the foundation courses, so if we discuss a little bit, it seems like foundation courses is very popular in the Middle East. Lots of students coming from Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, and some part of South Asia from Bangladesh as well. So how many intakes normally, and how is the entry requirements for foundation courses?
Yeah, so with our foundation courses, in terms of intakes, it depends on the pathway you wish to undergo. So I think we have over 10 different sort of undergrad foundation pathways. So they cover all sorts of areas: computer science, creative arts subjects, education, engineering, law, life and medical science. So you can get onto most programs at the university through one of our foundations. There really is a broad scope for that. Most of the pathways will be 2 entry points. I think there would be sort of autumn and January, and then some will have a May as well, I believe.
I see. And they have also September, I think, yeah? September.
Yeah, so that would be, I don't know if they've made an October intake as well, or if they're sticking to September at the moment, but yeah, in autumn, September or October as well, yeah.
And also, I think the students can get like a 4 years visa with that joint case, yeah?
Yeah. So there'll be 4-year visas available for students if they're undertaking that pathway, yeah.
Okay, so don't need to go back to after finishing the first year. So it'll be like integrated case for the students, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, thank you. For undergraduate courses, Tom, so is there any placement year or study abroad, as well as the interview requirements and the application process for the undergraduate, Tom?
Yeah. Funnily enough, most of our undergraduate courses can be offered as a sandwich year. And so what that means, for those of you that don't know, is that a sandwich year, you study your first 2 years of university, and then in place of your third year, you could do either a year abroad at another one of our partnered institutions across the globe. We've got partner institutions on every continent, except Antarctica, obviously. So you could go, so long as there's a relevant partner university in the region you wish to study in as part of your year abroad for your subject, you'd be able to study nearly anywhere in the world for that year abroad. But then alternatively, instead of a study year abroad, you could do a placement year. So this is obviously quite a popular option for students, both undergraduate and postgraduate, where postgraduate we have a number of placement courses as well. But then with undergraduate, you come back and do your final year after that fourth year of your either your placement or your study abroad year. And we do have facilities at the university to help support students find those work placements. So we have careers teams with resources available 24/7 for students. And obviously there's a lot of resources within each school of study for institutions that we either work with or that we know regularly look for placements in the local area.
Okay, thank you. Viewers who joined, please, if you have any question, you can ask the question through the comment box. We'll try to answer the question. Please don't forget to share this Facebook Live session. And who joined from our Kuwait and Middle East, North Africa, and we have a virtual fair coming in June and July month. You will have the opportunity to speak directly with the Tom, and please contact our team and different offices. You can contact myself and my team in Portsmouth, UK. So where you will have an opportunity to directly speak with the Tom one-to-one session. So please register now if you want to attend this virtual fair. And also, TCL Global is actually working with the Hertfordshire University for a long time. We have sent a good number of students over the year. We have a very strong relation with the Hertfordshire University, and we had a very good feedback from these students. So if you want to find out more, if you want to apply for this university, please contact our team, and our service is completely free of charge. Okay, Tom, we can touch a little bit about the master's level courses and the duration as well, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. So our master's level courses are extremely popular at our university, particularly with our integrated placement courses. So these courses span across our School of Humanities, so it includes subjects like politics and international relations. They span across the business school and also the computer science subjects within the engineering and computer science school. So these integrated placement courses are 2-year master degrees, and they work rather than split by year, they'll be split by semester. So you do your first 2 semesters, and assuming that you've managed to secure a placement with our help and also meet the minimum requirements, which include gaining a 60% overall in your course so far, you'll be able to go on to a year work placement, followed by coming back and doing your final semester. So that means your master's would be 2 years instead of 1, although it's obviously only 1 year fees, and that 1 year of that is actually you working within the industry of your choice. And so those courses are very, very popular. So, subjects like international business, international relations, and then a whole assortment of computer science related courses like cybersecurity have that option. And then those subjects lead quite nicely on to our new MBA that's coming out for international students. So this MBA is going to be available for international students from January 2021. And this is an MBA where the requirements wouldn't necessarily include things like work experience. So it's a very accessible MBA with lots of different pathways. And for students that have studied at Hertfordshire already, it's also designed to work quite nicely as a follow-on from those integrated master programs. So, you know, if you've done international business with a one-year placement, that would lead very nicely on to the MBA that will be available for students this January.
I think it's a good option, and also the student have, like, after completion of their degree, they can have a 2 years post-study work, you know, the visa. Yeah. So eventually the students potentially can 4 years, 4 months visa.
Exactly. And I think the integrated placements are really good places for students to start finding that relevant work experience, because obviously the graduate visa doesn't limit students to sort of the level of work they can do, so they can do skilled work on that 2-year visa. That's, you know, I think the whole idea of it in the first place. And so if students have gone away and they've done a placement at a company, that you know, first off, that opens that company's eyes to the student. They know who that student is. They'll know that the student can work well. And if unfortunately they don't have any places available for students to work once a student's graduated, the students then got a reputable British company on their CV as a reference, that if they're going for another job, another big organisation here in the UK, that organisation has got a point of reference within our own country of that institution as a referee. So having that British institution on your CV and as a reference is a really, really good starting point for, you know, the further world of work if you're looking at your graduate visa or something similar.
Okay, fantastic. And 2 years master's course, you mentioned it is actually both in January and September, in October intake. That course is being offered?
So the master's courses with placements only run from September, but you can also do each of these courses without the placement, just as a one-year program, and those one-year programs are available from January.
I think I got a question from the Walid Jaman. Thank you very much for your question. I have an offer to study in electronics engineering at Hertfordshire University. The course will be started on the 26th of October. I have a question. Due to coronavirus pandemic across the world, could I possibly get a visa? Is there a possibility for online class?
Okay, cool. Hello, Walid. Thank you for joining us. And it's really good to hear that you've got an offer for our university. So the course date changing to the 26th of October is something that we've done in order to hope to ensure that students are able to get a visa, because we're aware that embassies and things like that might not be open in time for a September intake, which is why we've pushed back to October. So we do plan that the 26th of October will be a face-to-face learning experience for students. There's no current plans to make any classes that shouldn't be online or wouldn't normally be online. So obviously if someone's applied for an online course, then yeah, that's normal, that will go ahead. But any of the usual face-to-face teaching, we don't intend on turning that into online teaching. We hope to have students here at the university to offer a practical face-to-face experience. Okay.
Yes, Alid, if you want to know further, please contact our team. Our team can actually advise you and can update you time to time. So you can contact, if you are based in Bangladesh, you can contact our team in Dhaka and Sylhet. And if you are based outside Bangladesh, you can contact one of our offices. Thank you, Alid, for your question. We got another question from Talib. What will happen if the campus is closed? I cannot start my course face-to-face if I start online in September. When will we issue CAS? You get a CAS, yeah.
Okay, so if the campus remains closed in the autumn, in a September-October intake, there's been no official guidance yet, because we do intend that students will be able to join us then. But I imagine one of the first things we'll probably look to do is deferring students until the January intake. That I think would be the first sensible thing that we'd look at doing, is moving all of the courses just back to the next intake where possible. There's no, as I mentioned before, no current plans to make classes online. But what I would say is, with government changes to the government's rules and regulations, that may change in the future, but there's no current plans to do so, to turn anything online. And in regard to issuing a CAS, we will only issue CASs within 3 months of the course start date. So as it stands at the moment, if you have an offer for the 26th of October, we would plan to begin issuing CASs from the end of July for students. So you could probably expect your CAS sometime in August if you applied prior to that.
We've got another question. Do you accept double master's students?
Yeah, if you're looking to undertake another postgraduate degree, I'm assuming that's what the question's about. If it's, so long as it's not essentially the same course, if say you've done computer science and then you want to focus in further on cybersecurity, something that's a bit more focused, we can accept students on that basis, but not if you want to do another computer science master, or if you've done something that's got no, if you want to do computer science but you've done international business at master's level, then we just need a justification of why you're changing, why you're changing your focus. That could be something to do with work, change of interests, things like that. We just need some sort of justification statement.
Okay, thank you. Yes, viewers, thank you for joining us, and thank you for also the questions. As I mentioned earlier, that we have organized virtual fair for you. If you want to directly connect with the University of Hertfordshire, you have to directly contact with Tom. You can directly speak with the Tom. You will have an opportunity to one-to-one session. Please register and please contact our team for further details. And it will be held in June and July month. Yeah, we've got another question. Okay, so we can touch a little bit about the PhD, Tom. PhD, normally we get lots of inquiries from the Middle East, lots of students, brother. And they always ask the proper way to apply, that whether we should contact with the supervisor, whether an existing project group. So what would be your suggestion for them?
In terms of applying?
Yeah, applying for the PhD.
Yeah, so I mean, first and foremost, in terms of applying, if you get in touch with TCL, they'll be able to help walk you through and look after each stage of your application process. So I really would recommend making the most of TCL Global with your application process, as they can make the process run as smoothly as possible. For the students, obviously there are some things that students will need to take lead on that TCL can't. I think the main thing of that is the gathering of sort of your standard requirements and your documents. So we do have a list of the standard required documents on our website. So I'll just read those off for students now, so you get an idea of what we would need or what you would need to provide to TCL. So we need some form of English language qualification. We'd need your academic transcripts and certificates. We'd need 1 or 2 references, and this depends on your level of study. So if you're studying undergraduate, 1 reference, 1 academic reference, and if you're studying postgraduate, we'd need 2 academic references, but we can substitute one of those for a work reference. We'd need a personal statement. So our personal statements, or the personal statement you'd need to provide would need to cover 4 main points. And those are your reason for applying to the course, your reason for applying to the University of Hertfordshire specifically, your reason for applying to a UK university, and your career aspirations and how the course fits in with these. You'd also need to provide a copy of your passport photo page. We would also provide you with an immigration history questionnaire, which you'd need to fill out. And then for certain courses, we also need ATAS certificates and DBS checks. The DBS checks are finalised when you're here in the UK, but we do sometimes need like a letter of good conduct from your local police and things like that, just to confirm that.
Thank you. And also, how many, I think it's flexible intake, isn't it, for PhD, yeah?
Pardon?
flexible intake for PhD to start? Yeah. How many intakes for PhD?
I wouldn't know off the top of my head, unfortunately. The best thing to do for that would be to look, if you find the relevant section of our website for the area that you're looking to study in, because they can vary. That would be the best way of finding that out, definitely.
Thank you. Good. Another question, MOI, minimum instructions, English. So does the Hertfordshire accept?
MOI. What does MOI stand for, sorry?
It's a medium instruction. So if they study in English medium, like the study was the medium of instruction was English. So whether you will accept that instead of the IELTS?
If I'm honest, it's not something I've heard of. Hence, I need clarification on what it was. So
I think maybe it's very known things in South Asia, in Bangladesh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't deal with South Asia, unfortunately, so that's not something I can comment on. Sorry.
I know that if anybody graduates from the English-speaking country, like from America, Australia, Canada.
Okay. So in that case, we would still need some form of English language qualification, but that comes in the form of like an IGCSE, or if they've done the American system. Even if they've done the American system in, say, Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi, if they've done the American system in any country and they've hit the relevant entry requirements for English, then we can accept that. So even UK home students, so like I came to this university and I had to show that I got a C at GCSE English. So even home students have to show proficiency in English language, and we have to show the exact same level that international students would show.
Okay, thank you. About the internal test, Tom, whether any alternative test is accepted, because due to lockdown, all the campus, all the test center, IELTS center is closed. So we're accepting an alternative test or any internal test arrangement is there.
Yeah, so we do accept a number of external English language tests outside of things like IELTS. So obviously there's the other ones similar to IELTS like TOEFL, which we accept, but we've also started to accept a number of distance English language tests. So they include the Duolingo test, the Pearson's Versant test, Password test, and the Oxford International test. And so what I would say as well is if students are very close, if they've missed out their IELTS, if they've done an IELTS and missed out by like 0.5, then we can help support and provide an English language test for students as well. But if that's the case for students, then I'd recommend just get in touch with TCL, who can get in touch with me, and we'd be able to organise that if that was a suitable pathway for you. Okay,
fantastic. I know that we slightly touch about the scholarship, so we can just a little bit more about the scholarship. That would be great, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. So the main scholarships that we offer for international students are the Vice Chancellor scholarships. So they range between £1,000 and £4,000, and they're offered out on a competitive basis. So we would look for students with good academic grades and good personal statements. But what I would say is it's not solely done on academic grades by any means. So it's not if you get, for example, 3 A's at A-level, you're guaranteed a scholarship. It doesn't work like that. We need to see that your personal statement's good as well. So make sure you cover those 4 points that I mentioned. Those 4 points are outlined on the website. And because you can apply to us directly and not necessarily through UCAS if you don't want to, that does mean that you can tailor a personal statement specifically to Hertfordshire, because obviously it's not being sent to any other universities. So if you want to be considered for one of those scholarships, and you're going through TCL, you just need to ask them to request your consideration. We do consider all students upon their initial application, but if you have been unsuccessful, you can get in touch with us again and request reviewing again for one of those scholarships, which, like I say, range between £1,000 and £4,000.
Okay, thank you. Yes, viewers, if you want to apply for scholarship, you want to find out more about the scholarship, please contact our team in Bangladesh, Dhaka, and Sylhet office, also in our Kuwait office and Saudi office, and our team based in Portsmouth. So if you want to apply and find out, our team can help you. Um, okay, we got another question here. I have another question. If the COVID-19 pandemic is continuing seriously here in our country, could I join the next September at the Hertfordshire with my offer, which I got already?
Okay. So thanks again, Walid, for that question. If I'm honest, that would probably be more likely a question for the UK government, unfortunately, and what their direction on international travel will be. That's unfortunately what a large amount of our policies will come down to, is what the UK government's accepting. We want students to join us here on campus, but whether the UK government will allow it is another question. So yeah, that's probably something that you would become more clear with time and the updates the UK government provides.
I think in the coming months, like June, July, and much more will be clear, where actually we're going, than the government stand, worldwide situation. So I think it's much more easier to actually predict. Okay, Tom, if we can touch a little bit about the accommodation availability for international students.
Yeah. So the accommodation we have at the university, we've got two campuses that are based a mile apart from each other, and both campuses offer accommodation for students. So our bigger campus, the College Lane campus, actually had nearly entire renovation of accommodation. So only one accommodation block wasn't rebuilt. But that one was internally refurbished, so it's still nice and new inside. And then all of the other accommodation facilities on that campus opened in 2016, so they're still pretty new. On that campus, we've got 2,500 rooms, and on the other campus down the road, we've got, I think, closer to 1,500 rooms. Obviously, that's a smaller campus, so you'd expect that anyway. The prices do vary because the accommodation does vary. So at one end of the scale, you've got twin rooms, which are two-person rooms, which are the cheapest rooms on campus. The cheapest single-person room is then in Telford Court, and that would be a six-person flat. So shared kitchen, shared showers. There's usually, I think, 3 showers, 3 toilets to 6 people. So it's always 2 to 1. So, you're never going to be fighting for the bathroom facilities or anything like that. And then as you move up, you go into the newer accommodations, some of which have en-suites, some of which don't have en-suites, some of which are larger flats, some are smaller flats, and all of these factors affects the price. So there must be sort of 7 or 8 different price points for different accommodation options. So the best thing to do to look for in terms of the details is to look on our website at what each accommodation facility offers. But the great thing about living on campus is that your weekly or your semesterly fee for the accommodation covers all of your accommodation facilities. So it covers obviously your water, your heating, it covers your electricity, all of that sort of stuff. It covers your Wi-Fi. It covers security. So the university has an on-campus security team and an on-campus residential assistant team. So there's essentially 2 teams of security looking after the on-campus accommodation. And I think that's part of the reason that our university has been voted on a number of occasions the second safest university in the east of England. And then as well, the great thing about living on campus is you're right next to all of your lectures. When I was a student and I lived on campus in my first year, I could literally roll out of bed and in 5 minutes be at my lecture, which is obviously, for a student wanting to get as much sleep as he could, it was ideal for me. And then, all of the accommodations right next to sport facilities, it's right next to the libraries. And so you've just got everything right next to you. And it builds a really, really nice community vibe. Like it was so nice just living like right next door to all of my friends. And it just builds a really nice community.
Thank you, Tom. Yes, I think we are end of our session. So viewers, we try to actually cover foundation courses, UG, PG, PhD, as well application process. Then we discuss about the intakes, and there is lots of courses actually being going to offer in January intake, especially undergraduate. And also we discussed that Hertfordshire actually going to postpone 1 month the intake for the October. So they're going to start in October instead of January. And also we discussed about the scholarship. There is a scholarship, so you can contact our team to find out more if you want to apply for a scholarship. Also discuss about the internal test is available if you want to take the test from your home. Then just we discuss about the accommodation as well. Yeah, as initial point, you mentioned the 25 minutes from the London. So it is very, very unique situation. And for the university, you know, students can travel for the work, they can live there, you know, so they the big, the London experience they can have, you know, when they're actually living or studying in Hertfordshire.
Exactly. And one of the great things, although we're, you know, 25 minutes from the centre of London, if you don't want to live in London, you can obviously live in Hertfordshire, which is cheaper in terms of pretty much everything, your cost of living, your accommodation, your you know, even down to like food and drink, like everything's that bit cheaper in Hertfordshire, but you've still got London on your doorstep.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's true. And I personally visited the campus, the beautiful campus. As I said earlier, that we sent good number of students. We had a very positive response from the students about the campus facility, teaching, everything. So if you want to apply, please contact our team in UK, in Portsmouth, where is my team based. In our Saudi Arabia and Kuwait office, you can contact them, as well in our office in Dhaka, Bangladesh, and Sylhet. So our service is completely free of charge. TCL Global helping all international students since 2011. So we have helped a huge number of students over the years. Our service is completely free of charge. And as I mentioned that we are organizing virtual fair, you will have an opportunity to speak directly with the Tom regarding any question you have. So please contact and register now so that you have an opportunity to connect with the university. Tom, last few words for the students before we finish.
I'd just say that if you're looking for a really practical experience in an incredible community, which, you know, it serves for beyond more than just education, make lifelong friends, join a sports team, join societies, and make the most of the UK, travel around the UK, see the UK, and then get a really, really incredible degree from an incredible university.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tom. Yes, I understand everybody is very difficult time and is passing and lockdown. I understand that students may be confused. So you can apply, you can always defer, you can always defer your course. So so please apply if you want to apply and if you want to come to UK. So our team can help you. And I wish you stay safe with your family. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you, Tom, for being us today.
Thanks for joining, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.